Hi, this is Father Louis Scurti. I'm at Cristo Rey High School in Brooklyn. I had Mass this morning at, as many of you know, at Roosevelt Island, St. Cabrini Church, and it was a short ride, well, it was about an hour to here, and we drove through all of the city streets we could find, and we arrived at Cristo Rey, and I'm so happy to introduce you to the principal and two of the students, and the students just gave me a tour, wonderful tour, and you'll see clips of those meetings real quick later on the future shows. We're focusing on what Cristo Rey is all about here and throughout the country, and also the fact that their gala is coming up, or she called it gala, or you called it gala. They didn't like the way I said it, so it's a big fundraiser, and we want you to get involved. But let's meet Bill. Bill Henson, principal.
Father.
Since when?
Well, I'm the president. We have a
president.
and a principal. I've been the president here since 2011. Been involved with the Cristo Rey movement and network since 2008. Originally on the board of our sister school up in East Harlem, so Cristo Rey, New York. We're Cristo Rey, Brooklyn.
Oh, okay.
And then came down here in the winter of 2011. And have been here ever since, most of those years as president for a brief period of time. I also served on the board as the vice chair and a senior advisor.
Busy.
Wow.
Career-wise, what were you before you became principal?
So I was mostly involved in investment banking for about 30 years.
Good.
Entirely here in New York. I worked for some of the largest institutions, the names that you and your audience would probably recognize, Citicorp.
Sure.
But also for a couple of smaller investment banks, and personally had just reached a point in my life, in my career, where those things that were at home, my kids, my family, their future, I felt I'd been able to take care of that, and now it was time for me to sort of expand that, or as I said to one of my close friends when he asked, Bill, why are you doing this at this this stage of your life? And I said, it's my turn.
Oh, good. To give back.
Yes,
Leadership.
and I'd always enjoyed working with young people. I had coached a lot of youth basketball. I'm the father of 4 boys.
Benedict,
by that time,
good.
they were starting to grow out of the youth side of things, and here represented an opportunity for me to do that, as you said. And I did a fair amount of exploration and searching, talking to a number of folks. I was involved with a major project within the New York Archdiocese, and then I found out about Cristo Rey. 2 of my older boys went to Fordham Prep High School, and the president at Fordham Prep, when my kids were there, had gone down to be the founding president at the Cristo Rey School in Harlem.
Oh.
And I went and talked to Father Joe Parks, and I went to talk to Father Parks and learned exactly what the model was about. I said, I'm in.
Okay, I'm going to ask you about that model after I chat with each student. But the Cristo Rey organization nationally, right?
So it's a national network with close to 40 schools. First one was founded in Chicago in the mid to late 90s. And it has grown steadily since then over the course of the last 25 to 30 years, where we are now the largest network of secondary schools in the country that exclusively serves families and children who can't afford a private education otherwise.
Right. And you guys introduced me to the fundraising room. What do you call that? Advancement. And they're always active.
Yes.
You said they raise money all the time. And,
Yes.
And they have a very interesting relationship to the community. Like, what do you do during the summers?
During the summertime, my corporate work study job, I work for CWSP. I work there during the summertime. So the same work that I would continually do on Wednesdays when I work, I do it throughout the summer, but just a longer period of time. So like Monday to Friday. Yes.
And eventually you're hoping to be employed there.
Well, eventually, yes. Well, eventually, yeah.
Good. And what do you do during the summers?
Me and Amaya actually happened to work at the same job
Okay.
site. So I started there my junior year while she started there her sophomore year. So in the summer we go there, we intern there. It's basically like a 9 to 5 job. We work with adults and get the experience. And then we could also intern there during the summer between college.
Yeah.
So
Good.
it also helps us, have a little money in our pocket, but it also sets us up for the future.
Excellent. And I met so many people today. There's a program that solicits students to go to a college while they're still here in high school, right?
Yes, college counseling. That's
Okay.
That's a program for juniors. So it's all juniors are required to go out to a college and spend like either a week or two, sometimes even longer, depending on the college.
What a wonderful experience.
Yes.
We
Definitely.
get a very, very generous grant from a
Gerstner Scholars.
prominent foundation.
Well, excuse me. What would you call them?
It's called Gerstner Scholars.
Yes.
Aggressive?
Gerstner.
Gerstner.
That's Lou Gerstner is the founder and the funder
Gotta get
of
the
the Gerstner Family Foundation.
Okay.
And they underwrite this program where our rising seniors apply to go to a pre-college summer bridge program, which can range anywhere from a week to even a few weeks on college campuses across the country. Once or twice we've even gone internationally. A student at Oxford years ago, in Beijing, China.
Oh, that's great.
All underwritten, and the classes, courses, programs that these young people take range from just making that transition from high school to college, being more independent, being on your own, to specific subjects that they're interested in studying. They'll take a mini class in anything ranging from engineering to media studies, etc. They live on campus, and it's truly is a fantastic program, and we are obviously incredibly grateful to the foundation for making that accessible to these young folks, because otherwise we wouldn't have been able to do it.
Right. Wow.
And I think it really, it's still a little too early for you guys because you haven't made the transition yet. But I think it makes that transition from high school, living at home, and so on.
Right.
Not all of our students board at college, but a lot of them do.
Okay.
And it also gives a number of them the the opportunity to see what it's like, and where they might have been reluctant, or their parents might have been reluctant to have them go away.
Yes,
You say, okay,
yeah.
you know what, you did that, and hey, you came home in one piece. And you seem to be a little bit more mature, or a little bit happier, or a little bit more focused on what you want to do come their senior year, when they're actually looking at options for the next 4 years. It gives them more options.
Yes.
And I think helps them in terms of just being more confident in their decision making.
Good.
And so on. And then when they ultimately get to campus, making that transition, they've had that little bit of an orientation so far.
And they have the family environment of Cristo Rey to go with them, which is I could see the halls and the other teachers they met. You're a tight group here.
We are.
That's wonderful.
We are.
And for that to go with you, you'll shine. I know you have to go to another meeting, and
As long as you want, Father.
oh, okay, good. Well, I want to spend time on your transition from here, not necessarily your particular career after this, but like, what would you want the new principal to?
Or president.
Oh, you get that. I got to follow the model. We're in school, so you get ready for that. Okay.
You won't
good.
be hearing that in college.
No. Now what should follow is, please come to the office. Now there's a principal and president model that they follow here. Okay, so we're going to find out what your job was as a president and what you hope the new president will be. I know you're not on the search committee, but obviously you have goals.
Yeah. So the principal at Cristo Rey Brooklyn does what a principal would do at most any high school, public, private, charter, etc. He or she, in our case she, is essentially the chief academic officer. So she's responsible for student programming, with one major exception, which I'll mention, but academics, staffing within the academic world, student activities and extracurricular, student formation, campus ministry. All those scopes of responsibilities fall under the principal. The president. So, in order for the principal to be able to do that job, which is a pretty big job, and to be able to do it well, that's why we have a president. So, the president's responsible for the overall organization, as well as a lot of the other disciplines within the school. So, the business and finance, the admissions, the operations, the advancement fundraising. Amaya was talking about.
That's all on the president.
That's all reports, as the principal reports to the president as well. But and then one aspect of Cristo Rey Brooklyn that truly makes this unique is what Amaya and Johan were talking about before, which is our corporate work study program. And if you like, I'd take a minute and explain what that is.
Sure. I walked into that room.
Yes, you did.
And I thought it said Corporal Works of Mercy. I said, oh, how nice. They have a whole section for corporal work, but it's corporate.
Right.
Okay, and the hopes are?
So the way that program works is all our families, so Johan family, mine, they all pay some level of tuition. And that's so that their families have an investment in their child's future. It sends a powerful message to them. It sends a powerful message to us that they're committed to their child's future, to their education, and we really need to partner with the family. It can't be just us and the students. We need the families involved as well. But so they have some skin in the game, so to speak. But the tuition contributions that families make covers maybe 10% of our operating costs. So it sort of begs the question, how do we give these young people a top-flight college prep education if the tuition only covers 10% of our actual expense? The fundraising is a part of it, and that covers maybe, round numbers, depending on the year, maybe another 40% of our operating expense, maybe 50 in a good year. Like this year's our 15th anniversary, so we're going to have a big gala and so on. But it still leaves a large gap. So how do we do that? We have a program called the Corporate Work Study Program. It's truly unique to Cristo Rey Brooklyn, well, really Cristo Rey schools in the network. So 4 days a week, Johan, Amaya, all their fellow students, they're in traditional class here at Cristo Rey Brooklyn. 1 day a week, they're in what I call the school of the real world. They are working in real jobs at real companies, working 9 to 5. It's not a after school internship or a summer intern. It's a real job, and the companies and organizations where they work will pay. In essence, it's a fee, but not like a salary or like a salary. And the money that these young people earn goes to the school to help offset their cost of education. So not only are they getting this incredible experience anywhere from the age of 14, 18, being out there in the real world, and working at companies like American Express and Deloitte and Brooklyn Hospital and New York Presbyterian, they are literally earning their way through school. So one more factor that helps them, I think, to grow, to mature, and to connect those dots. So they're learning skills, and they're developing the confidence, they're developing contacts. They talked about the opportunity to continue working at, is it Hudson?
Yeah, Hudson.
At Hudson Insurance.
Yeah, they're both.
Which is one of our most loyal and prominent supporters in the work study program. But they can do that in college as well.
That's great.
So it's a fantastic program.
So you'll be able to continue your position at Hudson, even though you're in college?
Yes.
That's
yes.
great.
So even like all the breaks that we'll have, I just contact my supervisor saying I'll be back in New York. For coming back if I were to go away and be like I'll be back. So can I please come back and start working again? And even if there is actually a program at Hudson Insurance where I believe 3 or 4 Cristo Rey students are there. I'm not sure. They actually work there while they're in college.
Oh, that's convenient.
So
Yes.
if they go locally, like if they go to a St. Francis or a St.
Yes.
John's
Sure.
or a Brooklyn College,
Yes.
they'll have them work there even during the academic year.
Excellent. What school do you hope to go to? Or what schools are you interested in?
I want to go somewhere upstate. Deciding between alum here of Union College, and I'm also interested in Bard College. So
Bard
both,
College.
both of those schools are upstate.
Excellent. And
We're counting on you.
good. And
For me, I'm focusing on Hudson in University and University of Connecticut.
excellent, good, beautiful. I mean, that's okay. What do you hope the incoming president, will bring to Cristo Rey?
So, my aspirations, dreams, vision for Cristo Rey, and therefore for my successor, is that we continue to do what we've been doing, but we do it better, and we do it for more young people. So right now we're around, say, 250 students. We have a long-term plan to grow that to 400 students.
Good.
Over the course of, say, the next 5 years. So grow it steadily.
And is there room in this building for that?
There is. I mean, we'd have to do a little bit of juggling compared to, where we are now. But yes, back in the, in the baby boom days, like when I was in Catholic elementary and secondary school, and this was the old Catherine Macaulay High School before it became Cristo Rey Brooklyn in 2013. I've been told that they had up to 800 students.
Wouldn't doubt it. Yeah.
In fact, a little funny anecdote, and after I heard this, I said the Lord does work in mysterious ways. I found out. I don't feel guilty telling the story because my wife didn't know it. But when we moved here originally we were in Bushwick in an old elementary school, and when we moved here 11 years ago, I mentioned it to my wife, and she was speaking to her aunt. Said, "Is that the old Catherine Macaulay High School?"
Oh.
My mother-in-law had passed at that time, but she was talking to her mom's sister, and said, "Yeah." She goes, "Mary, don't you remember? That's where your mother went." And she was in the first graduating class in, I believe, 1946.
Wow.
And here we ended up.
Fantastic.
60 plus years later, we ended up here. So, like I said, there's some divine intervention or providence.
Beautiful. Before you go, I like our interviews to be like 15 minutes, but I'm spending more time now because you're leaving. But that's neither here nor there. I want to know about the gala because I just donated some paintings. I don't know where they. Oh, they're over there. To be raffled off, and the paintings came from my experience painting at the Filipino consulate in Manhattan, where I'm the chaplain of Eagle Eyes charity, and they wanted me to paint something for Lent, so I painted the 7 Dollars of Mary. Okay, so that's my contribution. What's the hope? What's the direction? Give me the information. Give me the prices. Give me where it's happening. We're talking about the gala for Cristo Rey. You know what? Let's do that on a whole nother section, okay? We're going to stop now, take a pause, and we'll come back with talking about the gala that's coming up. This has been Father Louis Scurti with Amaya and Johan and Bill Henson, like the artist. And we'll be back here at Cristo Rey, Brooklyn.